This is episode 20 of Big C Talks. I'm your host, Colton Sutley, also known as Big C. So, finally made it to 20 episodes after well over a year, probably a year and like 3-4 months of doing this. Hopefully, I keep staying consistent and maybe get to 50 someday. But today I'm just gonna talk about sprint cars in this episode. So if you just listen to this far, that's okay because I'll still get that view or listen or whatever, however you're listening to this. But on the 13th, I had to. Well, okay, start now on the 12th, the July 12th, the prelim nights for the Eldora Million occurred. And then on the 13th, history was made. And the biggest payday in not only sprint car racing, but in dirt racing history, only by $1 was won. So I'm going to go over the prelim nights real quick for the Eldora Million. So prelim number one, the top five was Brad Sweet. It was his eighth win of this year. And then Aaron Reitzel was second, followed by Kyle Larson, Logan Schuchart, and James McFadden. And then prelim number two, it was all on the same night. The top five was Rico Abreu with his fifth win this year, followed by Carson Macedo, David Gravel, Brian Brown, and Justin Peck. And then the Milli, cue up Lil Wayne, a Milli, because Logan Schuchart, with his third win of this year, won it $1 million. He dominated it. He led all 50 laps. I watched only the up until the wreck that happened after the competition stoppage at lap 20, and he led the whole thing there. And then there was that wreck, and then I just kind of stopped watching because it was already 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like they're just gonna keep wrecking because it's $1 million. Of course you're gonna go all out and you're gonna end up wrecking people. But it was nice to see. It was his first crown jewel level race that he's won. So it was good to see first real big race that he's won. Him and Jacob Allen, both the teammates at Shark Racing, both won Knoxville prelim night last year. So, and I know Logan Schuchart's won the a Gator National, a little Gator. I don't know if down at Volusia. I don't know if he's won the actual the points one, the big Gator, but I know he's at least won a little Gator at winning one of those races. But I guess that's not quite a crown jewel. Maybe getting the big Gator is more of a crown jewel type thing. I don't know. It'd be interesting to kind of dive into the different crown jewels. But anyways, finishing out the top five was Carson Macedo and Brad Sweet, and second and third respectively. They got real nice paydays, and there's a picture out there of them all getting interviewed, and the only one who was smiling was Logan Schuchart, and Macedo and Sweet looked really upset, but that makes sense. You miss out on $1 million and stuff, and those three ran up in they pretty much the whole race were up. They were the top three. David Gravel was fourth, and Enrico Abreu was fifth. CJ Leary had a nice run. He was I don't even know how many winged starts he's had. I forget how many they said, but it's definitely not over 20. And he's a really good non-wing guy. And he finished 12th. He made the million race and finished 12th, so that's really good. Him and Hayward Motorsports, that's the car he was driving, the winged car. And then Shark Racing had a really nice weekend there at Eldora. Jacob Allen finished 15th in the million, which is really good. The top two cars that they have out on tour with Outlaws, both top 5, winning it and 15th. It's really good. and Landon Myers, the third car. He mainly just runs kind of like PA usually, and maybe some other like bigger events. He made the Kings Royal feature. I'll talk more about that here in a second, but it's a really long way for the Shark Racing guys because they when it first went out on tour 10 years ago, they were really not looking like a. It was really rough. They were really roughing it, and it's nice to see that they did really good and like how the progress they've made. And I hope to keep seeing them win lots of races. I mean, Schuhart has 30 some outlaw wins. Jacob Allen has like he has like 5 to 8. I can't remember the exact number, but hopefully they keep winning and that a bunch of couple PA boys. And then now I'm going to talk about how the World of Outlaws that had their races this past week. The Brad Doty Classic was on last Tuesday. Um, I forget what day now. That was the 11th. Yes, it was the 11th. At Attica, uh, top five was Kyle Larson. It was his sixth win this year. He became the first back to back Brad Doty Classic winner, and it's been going on for 30 some years now. I want to say. I believe 30 at least 30 some years, and he was the first back to back Classic winner. There's been multi time winners and stuff, and I believe that's his third Brad Doty Classic win, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. Sheldon Hodgenshield was second, followed by Carson Macedo, Donnie Schatz, and David Gravel. Um, and then Friday, July 3rd, or yeah, July 14th. I'm sorry, get all these days messed up. I should have wrote down the dates, but I did not. But at the Kings Royal, or the night before the Kings Royal, at Eldora, uh, Outlaw Show, of course. Top five was Carson Macedo with his sixth win this year. One of those was an All-Star win down at Volusia, and then Brad Sweet, Gio Salzi, Rico Abreu, and David Gravel rounded out the top five. And then the Kings Royal, it was King Donnie Schatz. It's his third win this year and his sixth Kings Royal win. He's one shy of tying the King, Steve Kenzer. Not gonna lie, I hope he doesn't get that because the King needs to stay the King. And the rest of the top five were Brent Marks, David Gravel, Sheldon Hodgenshield, and Kyle Larson. There was a lot of drama because the format is it's like inverted. They invert and stuff, which is good. Usually puts on a good show and stuff. But it sucked because it sucked last night because it sucked because the Kings or the all the fast cars I guess I forgot to mention the weather. It rained and the track was really bad and it was only one groove, and uh so qualifying, all the guys that actually went fast and qualified fast got screwed over because then they couldn't pass in their heat races. And then you have David Gravel and Donnie Schatz kind of sandbagged it so they could get a good starting spot in their heat race, and they ended up doing really well. Or there was claims they sandbagged, and then a lot of top contenders failed to make the A, like Brad Sweet, Logan Schuhart, Carson Macedo, and it's just kind of there was even more, and it was just kind of bad circumstances. But yeah, and then they go to PA this week. I believe BAP's on Wednesday, and then Friday and Saturday at Williams Grove for the Summer Nationals. The USAC Midgets, they finally had a race again this past week. They had a Chad McDaniel Memorial at Mitchell County Fairgrounds in Kansas. The top five was Bryant Wiedemann. It was his first USAC win and his first this year. Congratulations to him. And then the rest of the top five was Emerson Axum, Logan Seavey, Jacob Denny, and Jesse Love. Jesse Love runs in the Arkham Menards series, really up and comer. Gonna be racing. He has a couple truck series races lined up here. But then on Friday night, it was the Midwest Midget Championship, night one at Jefferson County in Nebraska. Logan Seavey won. It was his fourth midget win this year. Obviously, he won the prelim night at the Chili Bowl and the Chili Bowl. Ryan Timms was second, followed by Cannon McIntosh, Jade Aberdezian, and Justin Grant. And then Saturday night, it was the Midwest Midget Championship finale, 10K to win. Tanner Thorson won. It was his first USAC win as a driver and owner. It was his second one this year. He won a prelim night at the Chili Bowl. I saw that he had like 27 wins, USAC midget wins before, and they were all solely as a driver. And then he switched to, so now he's a driver and an owner. So he got his 28th win, which is really great to see. And it's just nice to see. And hopefully he can keep winning. And I know he let some younger guys drive his car this year that's kind of like the plan, him to drive it some, and he's driven some 410 races as well this year. But the points leader, I was going to do the top 5 points, but it's such a big point lead as of right now that I don't think it matters. The Chili Bowl champ, Logan Seavey, has a 76-point lead in the USAC Midget National Tour. So that's pretty much all it will be. Then Central PA. I need to take a drink real quick. So in Central PA, Clinton County, they had a race on Friday, July 14th. Williams Grove was off, so they had a race. They fitted in a race. Mark Smith won. I believe that's like his second or third. That's like his third win this year. I believe. I forgot to look that up in my notes, but off the top of my head, I believe that is what his third win this year. And then Ryan Smith was second, followed by Garrett Bard, Billy Dietrich, and Cameron Smith. They had 30-some cars, and I guess at one point, there was like 6 Smiths, or 3 or 4 or 6 Smiths. I think it was 6 Smiths were like all right behind each other in position, and they were all not related. So that's pretty cool. And then on Saturday, July 15th, Lincoln and Port Royal both had races. At Lincoln, Freddie Raymer, I believe it's his 8th win this year. I do want to say 8th or 9th. He's one of the top drivers in win totals this season in the whole nation. And then followed by Cameron Smith and Troy Wagaman, Matt Campbell, Tyler Ross, then rounded out the top 5. Port Royal, Logan Wagner. I believe they said on the broadcast it was his first one this year. He hasn't been running very much this year and stuff, but it's good to see that he has that win. Devin Borden finished second, followed by Jeff Halligan, Mike Walter, and Gerard McIntyre. So nice to see some of those different names up front in the top, finishing in the top 5, especially Cameron Smith. He's a real young guy. Nice to see that he had a couple good top 5s this week. Knoxville, they had a big 360 race. But they had like 52 or 55 360s there. And the 360 Knoxville National and the Knoxville Nationals are coming up here beginning of August. So got like less than a month left. The top 5 for the 410s were Austin McCarl with a win. I do believe that was also his first win this year in the 410. Followed by Davey Heskin, who's doing really good this year, having some nice runs. Chase Randall in third, really good to see him do good in the 410 there. Really, like I think he's like 18 maybe, if not. Followed by Terry McCarroll. Nice to see him get a good finish, and Justin Henderson finishing fifth. And then for the 360s, Chase Randall, he won. Him and Garrett Williamson, who finished second, had a great battle for the win. Um, both pretty young guys, and it's nice to see that they're like battling out, and they both done pretty good in the 410s this season in different races and stuff. And they actually both, along with Austin McCarroll, or actually I take that back. Austin McCarroll did not go to the million. Chase Randall and Garrett Williamson both were at the million and made the drive back. So it's nice to see that they had some nice finishes at Knoxville for the weekly points racing. Davey Heskin finished third. Nice double top five for him. Dustin Selvage and Scott Boguski rounded out the top five. At Huset's last weekend, Christopher Thram won his first 410 race there. First 410 win at all, and it was real emotional for him. He's a kind of younger guy, and he's been going there his whole life, so it's nice to see that he got a win there, and nice to see that he's had a. I think I saw tweeted by the Dingus Drunk that he had probably his best finish at Knoxville in the 410. I think he got like 12th or something. So that's good to see. Hopefully he keeps improving and can someday get in a Knoxville win. I believe he can with how well he did at Huset's. Now, local racing, Western PA, that's the local area. So if you're not from this, I guess that isn't local, and you might not know a lot of these names, but at Lernerville on Friday, the 14th, the top five was Brandon Mattis getting his first win this year. Matt Farnham was second. AJ Flick was third. Dan Shelter was fourth, and Dan Kruger was fifth. AJ Flick actually started last because he's been winning so much this year. He started 18th and made it up to third, so plus 15. That's really good. And then that's the only Tri-City is supposed to race tonight. Won't have the result. I'm recording this on Sundays, so Tri-City is supposed to race tonight. Won't have the results. I'll cover them next weekend, or not next weekend, next podcast. If they don't get rained out, which is always a chance. I don't believe it's gonna rain, but you never know. But I had a bunch of local guys over at the Million, and someone stayed for the King's Royal. Excuse me. Cy Lynch, he made the show in his own car at the King's Royal, and then Carl Bowser drove the McCandless car. He made a B main for the Million. Kind of got lucked out because there was a 31-minute heat race that he was in, and a bunch of cars ran out of gas, and he got the top B main transfer spot. Cody Bover was there. Brandon and Brent Mattis were, and Michael Bauer were all at the Million. I believe all of them besides Brandon and Brent Mattis stayed pretty much a whole weekend. Because Brandon and Brent Mattis drove back to Lernerville. Obviously, Brandon won. And then Brent Mattis, it was known that he was one of 3 or 4 drivers. I can't remember the exact number, along with Danny Smith. But Brent Mattis, he was one of 3 or 4 drivers to be at the Mopar Million back in 2000 or 2003, one of those times. It was a wingless race, and the Eldora Sprint Million. So he was at both of those, and that's really good. Let me take another drink real quick. Excuse me. Don't edit on this podcast, keep it, raw and live. But so the points for the Western PA 410 season championship, I updated it as of 309 or 310 July 16th. So don't have the Tri-City results from today in, but AJ Flick is leading with 410 points, followed by Bob Felmley and Brandon Mattis at 281.5 and 280 respectively. My bad. Jack Soderman Jr. in fourth at 259. Carl Bowser in fifth at 252.5. Brandon Spithaler 242.5. Dan Kerr 238.5. Dale Blaney 231. George Hoball 212.5. And then Brent Mattis at 178. And there's a few guys that are pretty close to they could take over Brent Mattis' spot. It might not be the best way to do the points, but I don't know how I should do it. Be like the top 20 finishes or what? Maybe I'll change it some at the end of the season. But I think regardless, you do the top 20 finishes. Well, actually, there's been 23 races ran this year. So AJ Flick, his worst finishes are like he got like a couple half points because he didn't make some big shows at Sharon for like different reasons, and so like add one more that's like it's still a pretty good finish, and he's still gonna be way above all these guys. So and because he has like 7 or 8 wins this year already. I'm sure he's gonna probably go through the double digits here soon. I mean, there's still quite a few races left. Not only just in Western PA that he can race, but like I know he goes to Port Royal usually quite a bit. He did not this past weekend though, but he's just having a great year. If Brandon Spithaler wasn't running the fast series, maybe he would have gave him a run for his money because he's had some really great finishes as well this year. But there's been 23 races this year in Western PA, 6 different tracks, 134 different drivers. Had 4 new ones show up at Lernerville this past weekend. Maybe we'll get some more tonight at Tri-City. I kind of probably highly doubt it, but you never know. And then Silver Cup. Actually, I'll get to the Silver Cup here in a moment. But first, I want to talk about Mercer. They postponed their 7K to win race. That was supposed to be Saturday, July 15th. The rain and like the rain was supposed to be on its way, so they just canceled ahead of time. Hopefully, they can find a good time to schedule it. But this coming week, there's quite a few races. Actually, I think a week for racing, I would consider would be Monday to Sunday because a lot of series race on Sundays. Tri-City, they obviously race tonight. That was my fault, my bad. But Tuesday, July 18th, Don Martin Memorial Silver Cup, 25K to win. It's going to be really good. All-star sanction event. Me and my buddy Tim are going to go. We're leaving work early, going to go and go off of limited amount of sleep the next day. It should be really good. I could see a really good car count, probably like 40-ish cars. With the Commonwealth Clash being a high limit sanction event, 50K to win later this year in September, and with all this, the Million and like everything at Eldora, just like kind of stop by. I know Tyler Courtney hurt his back, so he won't be there. Anthony Macri, there's drama where he's not in the Macri car. I saw AJ Flick trying to kind of hinting that on Twitter about, hey, like, I wonder how well I do in these cars, and tagging, Macri Motorsports and Clausen Marshall that owns Tyler Courtney's ride. So it'd be interesting to see some top, Silent Lynch will be interesting to see if he's in his own equipment or the McCandless car because he might have sponsor commitments to run his own car. And that's why he drove his own equipment at Eldora this past week. But you have the McCandless car there. It'll be good. AJ Flick, whether or not he's in his own stuff or not, going to be one to watch out. Top local guy to watch out for. Brandon Spithaler, Jack Soderman Jr. You got some all-stars like excuse me, Zeb Wise, Kerry Madsen, and the 55 Vermeer car, JJ Hickle, um, Connor Morrell, uh, Chris Wyndham, almost forgot about him. Can't forget about that second NOS car. Kyle Larson could possibly show up. I wouldn't be surprised. Swindell Speed Labs definitely won't be there because they had motor issues and had to borrow a motor on Saturday. Indy race parts, possibly. I doubt it. With Shane Stewart, I feel like they won't. I think they would probably just the next races would be the Knoxville Nationals. It'd be interesting to see if any like no gas might use another freebie up to race it, so you can race the 50K to win race. It will be interesting to see if any outlaw guys use another freebie, but I doubt it. A lot of them already use 3 now. I wonder how many Ohio guys and Central PA guys will come out just to get a little bit, time on a track. I don't know. It'll be hard because BAPS does have an outlaw race on Wednesday, so the Central PA guys might just kind of stay out there. Ohio guys, hopefully someone will come over, but it should be really good. I think I could see 30 to 40 cars pretty easily. But you never know. And plus, there's like kind of like it's hanging around like 50% chance of rain. I saw it got down to like 40 something, so hopefully it keeps going down. And then on July 21st, that's not this coming Friday, Sharon has a 410 race. They're using Lernerville's payout because it was kind of one they just kind of came out of nowhere a few weeks ago that they decided to run. So it's only 2K to win instead of I believe they usually do like 4K to win on when they have 410s, but they're using just Lernerville's payout. So it's a little less, but that's all right. Put on a great show anyways. July 22nd, Mercer has a race. I'm not sure how much the payout is. I want to say it's like 3 or 4K to win usually when they have like a 410 or their normal 410 shows. July 23rd, the Fast Series is at Tri-City. I do believe Fast Series races are like 3K to win. So that's probably what it will be. Don't quote me on some of these numbers. I'm just kind of guesstimating, but it'll be nice. And also at the Silver Cup, it'll be 2K to win. 305 Allegheny Sprint Tour 305 race as well. And so there will be 2 shows of sprint cars at the Silver Cup. Last year it was the All Stars and the Rush Wingless Series Tour. For those of you that don't know, that's a Rush crate engine. Put on a good show. Hopefully this year it puts on a good show. Just a lot of racing. So this is episode 20. It's been a little rough with me needing a drink a lot, but we got through it. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, rate 5 stars. Whatever you listen to. I'm pretty much on everything like YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. I think I already said Amazon Music. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads. I almost forgot about Threads. So look me up on there, and just have a nice week. Stay safe and enjoy the summer days.